So we're here with Stefan Nordström from Soliloquium. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, most people have a hard time with it, including myself when I'm writing. So
Mm. It's not the actual the way the word is usually spelled, right?
I usually say like Soliloquium, but I'm not sure if it's correct. I stole it from an Evermore song from the beginning, and I'm not sure if he said it correctly either. So who knows?
Well, he should at least. English is their first language.
Yeah, I hope.
And then you just went with it. So this is the origin of the name then.
Yeah, that I heard like I don't remember which Nevermore song it was, but I just heard a word and I thought it sounded cool and I had no idea what it meant. And then I checked the meaning of it and I'm like, oh shit, this is perfect for a doom metal band. And then I needed a name and finally found an original name. Like, so I was really happy with it.
Hmm. And now you've been making music as Soliloquium for a while, in addition to all those death metal bands that you were part of. So what did originally inspire you to start a new band as doom metal?
I think we wanted to try something different since the only thing that I'd ever done before was Desolator and Ending Quest. And then I got heavily into Catatonia and October Tide, Swallow the Sun, all kind of bands, and I wanted to try it. And then, I mean, the first EP was just basically trial and error, and it turned out pretty cool. So then we decided to continue with it.
Hmm. And now you had a new album out this year. What do you think was the biggest step forward that you made with this one compared to Things We Leave Behind?
I think it was getting the songs more different from each other and getting them more thematic, just making sure they have their own personalities. And
Mm.
also the production was a big step forward also because last time I got Jari Lindholm in the last minute when I already recorded everything. And this time he actually participated from the start and could tell me like, oh, fix this and it's going to sound a lot better. So I think production wise and songwriting wise, I think it's the biggest.
Mm. Yeah, and I did notice the production, especially. And in the songwriting department, yeah, like you can tell that a lot of the songs are a bit more different, but all of them are still in the doom metal sphere, more or less, which is something that I wasn't. How should I say it? I was looking forward to hearing a bit more of the little stuff that I heard in Things We Leave Behind. I heard a bit of black metal in it, maybe a bit of shoegaze in it, and I was hoping that maybe this will be expanded on in the next one. And it's still Catatonia worship.
It's funny because I think it's actually the opposite. Like I think Things We Leave Behind is fairly similar sounding, and the new one is not.
Yeah,
But
but
it's also
I
so
heard one
different from
first.
writing.
Yeah, I heard one first and the other one later. If I heard
Yeah.
if I think if I heard Soul Searching first and then Things We Leave Behind, I'd be even more disappointed. Not to say that I'm really disappointed, but like the things that I was looking forward to hearing were not there in the way that I was looking for.
Yeah, I think it's really different to hear it from a listener's perspective as well, because like when you write an album, you always think your latest album is the best one. So
Yeah.
that's how it
Which is
is.
something that kind of pisses me off about Opeth as well.
Of course.
I've heard some interviews with them, and like Orchid is his least favorite, and Sorceress was his favorite at the moment.
Yeah, but for him it was, I think he had such a massive turn when he has decided like I don't want to do death metal vocals again. And then it's like if you don't like the style that they're going for, I mean it's not gonna work, and then you're gonna be stuck in Blackwater Park, kind of whatever you do. So
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like you cannot imagine as an artist being like, okay, this new album that I made, it's not very good. It's not as good as the other ones. Nobody's gonna admit that unless they're doing a record to break a contract or something.
yeah, exactly. I mean I'm not doing it to make money or be famous or whatever. I'm just doing it because it's fun and interesting. So it's kind of the record is simply where I wound up. I was expecting honestly in my head to make a lighter record because I've always wanted to explore like the shoegazy, singer-songwriting, alternative rock type tendencies, but the album just kind of went where it went by itself.
Yeah, I would enjoy a Soliloquium album that's more alternative rock oriented. Maybe echoing instead of Catatonia worship, echoing a different part of their career now.
Yeah, I mean, I would be very interested in getting there, but it has to come naturally. And I mean, the biggest challenge is my clean vocals because I mean, I'm a pretty limited clean vocal singer, which is why I bring in guest singers all the time. So I have to
Hmm.
really work on that part.
Hmm. Yeah, well, it's weird because in a lot of bands that you're in, you're the vocalist, and there are a lot of bands where they're clearly somebody's project, and you're brought along as the vocalist, which is I think the Ashen Tree is one of them.
Yeah, Ashes of Life, Trees of Daymare as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very different because usually when I'm in a band playing guitar, I'm always writing the music. And when I come in as a singer, I mean, I've written lyrics in Trees of Daymare, but in Ashes of Life, I'm not even writing lyrics. I'm just like pretty much performing, which is a completely different thing because then you're just realizing someone else's ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Both are cool, but it's a very different thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, yeah, because I noticed that you did that a lot. The Ashen Tree was one that I was actually looking forward to hearing another album soon. They won clandestine. They were voted the best clandestine cuts of that year. If you remember that those awards that we held.
Yeah, I remember I was really surprised because the Ashen Tree is, you know, such a super unknown project. So
Mm-hmm.
I was really really surprised, but it's also I really like the songs. So I would really like to do something with it, but the guy who writes the songs, I haven't talked to him in quite some time. But if he would show up with an EP of songs and wanted to record something, I would do it for sure. I mean, I really like the songs that we did. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have the same control over it that you have in Soliloquium, which is basically this is your project.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's like I mean, if nothing happens from his side, then I can't really do anything about Ashen Tree. While Soliloquy is the exact opposite. So
Okay, so how do you feel about is Soliloquium like your project? Because everywhere I look, it's a duo of you and Jonas.
yeah, I would say it's my project. I mean, Jonas is always going to be the person playing the bass, but we have never written any songs together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has written his own bass parts and stuff like that for sure, but he doesn't really have any input on the songs writing wise.
Mm-hmm.
While while in Desolator, it's a very joint effort. I mean, I write most of the riffs for Desolator, but it's a joint effort once the riffs show up and we start discussing song structures and lyrics and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So Soliloquy, I mean, I had that problem on Metal Archives because they're refusing to put my new pictures up because we are two band members. So we got this grainy old picture of me and Jonas from like 12 years ago or something that looks like shit, and it's going to be there forever because they're refusing. I mean, the only way I could change it is putting Jonas as a session member, which would be really stupid. So
Well, you don't have any new pictures together.
no, we should maybe get one, but it's like I've been going for a lot of solo band pictures stuff with Soliloquy, but maybe we should just get one to have a proper picture of Metal Archives at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sure.
Well, in our defense, we have a picture of you on it,
Oh, cool. Better than Metal Archives then.
obviously. Okay. So, and how do you feel the reception was to Soul Searching comparatively?
Very positive, I would say. Like, I mean, the problem is the same as with Things We Leave Behind. Like, the quality of the reception is really good for both records, but it's the quantity. I mean, I don't reach out to enough people. That's the big problem. But the reception has been very good. Like, the reviews have been really good, and people have been happy about it. So it's been really cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because both of us are kind of in the business of promoting music, but you're kind of playing it from both angles. I see that you also have the Death Doom website, which also acts sort of to also talk about Catatonia or doom metal in general. You're posting a lot about other bands on Facebook as well, so it's not just here is my music, this is all I'm going to talk about. So we do have that sort of common ground. What do you say is the best way to promote music that is not yours nowadays?
Oh, just being extremely active and coming up with personal ways to do it. Like for me, Instagram has been a goldmine. But that also depends if you find a way to do it. I mean, I've gone very heavily on like the Swedish long-haired guy type thing because it has worked.
Yeah,
But
it's a niche that
it's
pays off.
yeah, and I mean the website thing is something really different because I mean I work in digital marketing, so I kind of new stuff about search engine optimization and stuff like that. So I did the website just to experiment. Is this going to work in metal as well as it works in business? And it kind of does, but I think just being active on the different platforms and engaging with people, that kind of stuff. That's also how the promoting other bands part has worked really well for me, because I mean, I get in touch with a lot of cool musicians from other bands just through when I mention their band in Instagram post. Maybe they show up and say thank you, and we start discussing stuff. And so it's a really good win-win, because I get to promote a lot of cool unknown bands, and I get in touch with musicians, and I manage to promote myself a little bit in the same. So it's really cool.
And if you get in touch with the right person, they might guest on your next record.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Like, I mean, I'm getting more and more like surprised by the people I can get into records, because I mean, getting Oddleif Stensland on Floodgates, it's a guy I've been idolizing for like 20 years, and I just messaged him on Facebook, and he's like, yeah, sure. So
yeah, that was my favorite song on the record anyway.
Yeah, those vocals, man, they're wow.
So how would you say Instagram compares to Facebook in terms of reach?
Well, Facebook is barely worth posting on these days when it comes to the pages themselves, because the reach is so bad. I mean, it's like I post maybe some stuff like, oh shit, my lights, right?
You turned into a ghost suddenly.
Yeah, I have my screen on behind to get some extra light, but let's see if I can get it. Yeah, now I have it. No, but the thing is with Facebook, like back when I started doing the marketing stuff around 2015, 16, it was fairly effective. But I think they're cutting down on the reach slowly and slowly. Like, so, I mean, you can post about your new album and you get like 4 likes sometimes, and it's like,
yeah, we post our reviews there, and most of the likes are coming from staffers.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it chooses the people that uses the page the most, and that's of course the people who least need to know about it, because that's going to be Soliloquium's 5 biggest fans. They're going to figure it out anyway. So it's and with Instagram, the reach is really open. I mean, especially if you work with hashtags, you can really work your way to different people, and plus you can get the links in if you use stories and all that. So because I really personally don't like Instagram. I mean, I wouldn't use
I don't like
if it wasn't
Instagram
for
either.
promotion.
Yeah,
it's such a vanity platform. I really don't enjoy it, like, personally, but I have to. I mean, it's such a good promotion platform, so I just started working with it.
It seems like the biggest upside that Instagram has is the algorithm is a bit different from Facebook.
Yeah.
Whereas if Facebook with the reach is pretty much dead in any place I'm looking at, except the stuff that is really, really baity.
Yeah. And who knows what happened to Instagram in the future? I mean, it's the same company, so they will probably try to slowly cut it down without anyone noticing, probably.
Because like Facebook is ideally should be even better than Instagram, because you also have the groups in there. You don't have groups on Instagram. You cannot post links on Instagram, which is part of the reason why we're not on Instagram, because you're gonna post an image of a review of an album you just reviewed, but not the link to the actual review. What you're gonna do? You're gonna post the entire review there. It's
it's a tricky thing. But with Facebook, the groups I think are really good. I mean, they're also kind of getting harder and harder to use, because you're getting less and less reach. But also back in like 3 or 4 years ago, I had extremely good success in the groups. Like, I was posting a lot of articles. Like, I mean, they were kind of baited. They were kind of the 10 best Cannibal Corpse songs and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously, those are the only metal stuff that comes into my Facebook page anyway, to my Facebook timeline. There's stuff from Lounder Sound that's like 10 best bands, and yeah, we don't do clickbaity stuff like that. Maybe we should.
No, but it's so like I mean, the people, I think it was on Metal Sucks or something, that we're just making jokes about it now, because they have to post about Corey Taylor like 6 times per week, and they're just like, what is this crap?
The joke about what does Corey Taylor think about it is even more overused now. Like, you cannot go into the comment section anywhere and not hear the joke. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's really tired. Like, and it makes it hard for people who actually want to make interesting content, because it gets buried in all that crap. So
yeah, I mean, this is the case with social media generally.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could just put my time on writing songs instead of doing
of having to aggressively promote your music.
Yeah.
Because I noticed even on deaddoom.com, it's not very subtle that the main point of the website is to promote your music rather than to talk about other music. And do you feel it's a bit awful that you have to put all that work into promoting rather than actually it feels a bit aggressive promotionally. It kind
It's
of
a
feels
bit,
like you're trying to sell something to me. It activates that instinct, like when a telemarketer is
yeah.
calling you.
Yeah, it's a bit, I mean, it's a double-edged sword because I mean, I have the knowledge from marketing and business, so I kind of use that. But so it's kind of fun as an experiment to do the website and do the Instagram. But it's also like most of the time I would wish I didn't have to do it, honestly. And I could
Mhm.
just put time on because it takes time away. I mean, I could be sitting writing songs those hours instead. So
Mhm.
it's a really big problem actually that way.
Mhm. Yeah, it's because it's really such a shame. I don't know how to put it into words. Like having to get the attention. I mean, it's even more important for you because the music is actually your product. Whereas for me, when I'm trying to get someone's attention, it's to show someone else's product, someone else's music. Sure, I would like it if they read my review, but the the most important part of a review is actually getting someone to listen to the music. And when there's every Friday there's like 20 new albums, it's really hard to get someone's attention, let alone mine.
Yeah, I mean that's the downside of music becoming available to everyone in the way of like recording and all that stuff. I mean, now people like me who have a has a job beside has easier to make music, so of course there are going to be like that saturation of bands, and it's really sad for because we have a lot of quality bands who doesn't get any listeners at all that deserve so
Mm.
much more. So that's kind of why I'm focusing so much on underrated bands also when I'm sharing stuff, and because I have a list of like I mean, I know like 500 bands that I wish would be more known that I've tried to
Mhm.
push, but
Yeah,
there's so much.
there's so much music, but also as a listener, you listen to so much and so much and so much music. At some point, you're really kind of trying to schedule your listening habits because you want to listen to new stuff that's coming out, but you also don't want to just listen to it once. You want to revisit some stuff that you liked previously. Also, people are recommending music to you. Maybe you're trying to get into a different genre. It's like it's all of there's a lot of music out there, and it kind of turns listening into a job, especially if you're a reviewer or
Yeah,
someone who is into promoting other people's music, not just necessarily just reviewing it.
yeah, it's a great point. Like I have so many albums from 2022 that I've listened to maybe 2 or 3 times. That should
Mhm.
be albums that I should have listened to 30 times. I mean, there's been so much amazing stuff this year. It's been like absolutely overwhelming. I mean, I even the new Immolation album, which is like one of my favorite bands, I feel like I haven't listened to it enough to really know what I think about it, except that it's awesome, but I don't know how awesome, which is imagine then when you come down to the layer of bands like the 10th or 20th best record of the year, but I've suddenly listened to like twice or something. I mean,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's really hard. And it's sad when it becomes a chore because I mean music is supposed to be fun.
Mhm. Yeah, that's you cannot stop doing it because it's not fun when it becomes part of your job. So at some
Yeah.
point you kind of realize that your listening habits are maybe not really healthy.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Like, because sometimes I look at my playlist of stuff I have to listen to, and it's like, oh, there's 47 hours in there, and suddenly I want to listen to something spontaneously. And should I put that before? And I mean, it's a really weird problem, but it's a problem for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, like I wouldn't change the genre that I'm reviewing. So I if I could choose any genre, I'd still review just metal. But it's kind of come to the point where when I want to listen to something for fun, it's never metal.
You need something just completely different to change the dynamics a little bit.
Yeah, because every Friday you're listening to a new death metal album, and unless it's really,
Yeah.
really something, it kind of turns into a breeze. Every day is a new doom metal album, a new black metal album, and unless it's really, really gripping, you're not going to remember anything from it. It kind of turns like, oh, here's a lot of new albums that were released today. I have to listen to them to see whether they're good or not. Maybe pick something to review it, and then move on. whenever I'm not listening to something for a review or for keeping up with it, I I kind of get a bigger appreciation of other genres. I'm really into pop music lately. I've been exploring a lot of grunge from the 90s. So on.
Yeah, especially with the reviewing, I can imagine that it becomes a really heavy thing because then you're always in that mindset like, oh, I gotta figure out what I think about this. And when you're suddenly free from that and you can just like, oh, this song is catchy or whatever. I mean, it's a completely different universe.
Yeah, it's you no longer have the expectation of I have to do something with this listening session.
Yeah, and I mean, it's sad that you wind up there, but I think most reviewers probably get there sooner or later. I mean, imagine how it is for someone like the Needle Drop or someone like that that has to deliver a video every day. I mean, it's gotta be.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we also have a future that's a monthly article about albums that are not metal. So at least there I can like and because not that many people read it, I don't have to invest as much into the actual review. I just, as long as I'm reviewing it, that's okay. But at least it gives me something, a breather outside of the metal world.
Yeah, it's really necessary. Like when I listen, I try to kind of go back and forth between dynamics as much as possible. Maybe put one extreme metal album and then I put something completely different and then I put an extreme metal album again. And that's how I've been listening a lot lately, actually. And it really works because then you get the maximum dynamics. If you put on like the electronic older album or something and then you go over to immolation, then you really get the extreme sides of both music, which really works.
Okay, so I think we can both agree that there's way too much music out there.
For sure.
Even if a lot of it is good, like imagine how it must be like for other art styles. Maybe there's a lot of paintings lately and you cannot watch them all.
I have no idea.
Okay. And so outside of the simulation one, what would you say are some of your favorite 2022 albums?
I actually thought about that earlier today because I figured you would ask that. So
yeah,
because
well,
I have
naturally.
I have four
okay.
favorite.
Scrap this
favorite
question.
albums.
What are your favorite 1987 albums?
1987. I'm trying to, because I have a list on Rate Your Music where I put my favorite album from every year, but I don't remember what I put on 1987 actually. Maybe Scream Bloody Gore. If there, what else could have been out that year? Slayer didn't put out anything. Death. 80s. I mean, yeah, 86 is harder because when you have Slayer, Candlemass,
yeah, it was
a lot of classics there.
Big year for a lot of genres. 87 seems a bit more restrained. It was the beginning of the shift towards the 90s, but not entirely. Like you said, you had Scream Bloody Gore. That metal was finally starting.
I'm pretty sure that I put Scream Bloody Gore for that year, 99%.
You also had
because there wasn't any big thrash metal albums that year, right? I mean, no. I would think it was Scream Bloody Gore.
Well, Testament's debut was then, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Persecution Mania.
I would still put Scream Bloody Gore over those, I think.
Yeah, probably.
But for the album of the year this year, except Immolation, I would say Dawn of Solace. Is their second album, or maybe third, if they had one earlier one.
Yeah, they had one earlier. This is their second one. I was gonna review it, but I realized that I don't have anything unique to say about it that I didn't already say about the previous one, which I reviewed.
Oh yeah, it's similar, of course, but it's also, I mean, it really all comes down to how much you like Mikko's voice. And I mean, some people are super fans of it, some people are not, and I'm like extremely sold on Mikko Heikkilä's voice. So when I get one more Dawn of Solace album, just with those simple songs and his voice, I'm super happy. So
yeah, it kind of boils down to how much of an emotional connection you have to it. If it's not just another new album.
Yeah, and I don't know, his voice really does something to me. Like it's really, I think he has really special, especially when he sings in Finnish. I think is even one step further, just because it sounds as I mean, I don't know. I don't love the Finnish language, but when he sings in Finnish, it's like really so I don't know, hits so hard.
This is why you got him on your records.
Yeah, that was my first guest vocal try there, and he was just like, yeah, sure, why not? And I mean, especially his performance on Discarded, I think is amazing. It's so good. It's like.
Okay. And are you already working on a follow-up?
Not really, not in a super active way. I mean, I have some riffs and I have some ideas that probably gonna wind up on a record, but I'm not really in proper songwriting mode, I would say. I need to kind of get my focus out of this album because I haven't sent out the CDs yet, and I'm selling merch and all that kind of stuff. But so I'm kind of waiting for inspiration to strike, but there is stuff coming for sure. I mean,
so you're in the business. You're in the business side now. You're in the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna go out. I think next month I'm not gonna be able to play much music since I'm pretty much traveling the entire month and stuff like that. But I would be surprised if I wouldn't have a couple of riffs this summer to start working from, because I've started from the other direction kind of, because I have an album title already and I have like some themes and stuff like that. So I've started working from the other end, and we'll see how that will work, because I usually write riffs and stuff first and themes after. So it's going to be different.
So is this finally going to be the outrock record?
I'm not sure. I wish it would be. Like, I'm actually trying to get myself there, but if it doesn't naturally come, I don't really know what to do, because I really wasn't expecting to make a record as extreme this time. It just kind of wound up that way.
Well, make the first side singer-songwriter-ish. Just listen to Elliott Smith all day, and then on the other part, just listen to black metal all day.
Oh, I would love to make a singer-songwriter, like flat out acoustic EP, like, because I sing a lot of cover songs at home with acoustic guitars and stuff like that. So it's definitely something I would like to do. I mean, it's more about just improving my voice and making it sound more natural and stuff like that. But I definitely
have you considered vocal lessons?
Yeah, I'm looking at that a little bit, see what I can find, and I need to find someone fitting that kind of understands what I want to do as well. But I have to do something like that, like maybe either I do some choir stuff or I get some vocal lessons or something, because it makes it so much. I mean, you can progress so much faster. Like, I mean, I progress 1% every month, and maybe you can do it a lot faster if you get actual lessons. So yeah.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it, especially if you're still going to improve on the songwriting front and maybe get even more ambitious this time around.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be the same record, that's for sure.
I hope so. Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, if I can be a bit businessy, I just want to say that I have a new merch up on Bandcamp. I just got zip hoodies and t-shirts that I put up earlier this week that are available. So if you want to support me, it's perfect time.
Okay.
And also, as I think I put it up on Instagram and the Facebook a couple of times, but I also want to say thank you to everyone who participated on the album and really made it special. Like everyone from the guest singers to Jari, who went beyond producing, and Henrik Ekholm, who helped me out with the vocals. Like it's been a much more collaborative effort. So I'm really thankful for everyone who's been involved with the album.
Well, thank you for the album too.
Thank you for interviewing me also. It's really nice.
Okay. Well, have a nice rest of the day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.